Earlier this year, I took a look at the Steelseries Arctis 7P Plus. It's Steelseries' mid-range wireless headset and a pretty good option if you're looking for a comfortable and decent sounding wireless solution. At $400 Australian though, or thereabouts, they are sitting in the more pricey end of the spectrum. And if wireless isn't an essential feature, you might be wondering if there's a more affordable option that doesn't compromise on sound quality. Well, wonder no more. This is essentially what the Steelseries Nova 3 is. It's a wired headset that costs less than half of what the 7P Plus does. And while it is missing many of the bells and whistles found on the 7P Plus, it does deliver the same stellar sound quality. The Nova 3 isn't Steelseries' cheapest headset, mind you. The Nova 1 comes in at about $50 less Australian, and in terms of audio quality, they share the same drivers as the Nova 3 and sound identical. So what's the difference between the two, and more importantly, what do you get for the extra money? The main difference between the Nova 1 and 3 is that the Nova 3 allows you to connect them via either a standard 3.5mm audio cable like the Nova 1, or via a USB connection. The USB connection doesn't provide any benefit in terms of sound quality, at least not to my ears, but it does give you a few more options. The biggest benefit of having USB is that it gives you access to the SteelSeries GG audio suite. This allows you to modify the EQ and microphone settings like side tone, as well as customizing the lights. The audio suite also has some funky AI-powered noise cancelling for the microphone when using the headset with a PC, and I'll do a demo of how this works towards the end of the video. Out of interest, the Sonar software is a free download and it works with all headsets. Being a wired headset, the Nova 3 doesn't need power for listening to audio. You just plug them in using either connection type and you're good to go. You will need to have them connected via USB to use the lights though, because they don't have a battery. If you've connected them via USB, you can turn the lights off if you don't want to look like a Christmas tree. To be completely honest, I don't mind the lights. I still think they're a completely redundant feature on a headset. I mean, who are the lights for? But I digress. The design of the lights on the Nova 3 is quite elegant and they're completely customizable too. If you're into lights, then these are some of the best I've seen. The controls on the ear cups are straightforward. You've got a volume dial, a mute button for the mic, and a switch to turn the lights on and off. I really like the design of the mute button. On top of the bright red light on the microphone itself, which tells you that it's muted and can also be dimmed in the software, the button actually sticks out displaying a red ring. So it's really easy to tell if you're muted or not. My only complaint is that retracting the mic doesn't mute it. On that note, the way that the mic disappears into the headset when not in use is really nice. It's probably the most discreet mic I've seen on a headset so far. To use it, you just pull it out and position it. Here's something considerate. The USB cable it comes with is quite short, which is perfect for use with a desktop, laptop, or mobile device. For use with a console though, you get a generous USB-C extension cable, and I think this demonstrates that SteelSeries have really thought about the practicality of using this headset. When looking at the specs, there's not a lot that jumps out here, with the exception of the microphone. With a frequency response range of 100Hz to 10kHz, it's much wider than many other headsets on the market, and this includes more expensive headsets like SteelSeries' own Arctis 7P Plus. The net results here aren't dramatic in terms of sound quality, but that said, this is one of the best microphones I've heard yet. It's also just good to see someone actually making an effort in an area that's lacking on pretty much every other headset on the market. For this section, I've recorded my voice using the Nova 3's microphone, just so you can get an idea of what it sounds like. When using the mic connected to the Sonar software, it uses AI witchcraft to block out background noise. This is what it sounds like with me talking normally and no background noise. And this is what it sounds like with me talking over the sound of a chainsaw playing at a pretty high volume in the background. And as you can tell, the noise cancelling is pretty good. There is a little bit of distortion because I have the AI noise cancelling maxed out, like turned up to the highest possible level, and you can adjust this in the settings and find a better balance. The headset is built out of black plastic and is almost entirely black except for the pattern on the headband elastic and the logo on the side of the ear cups. With the lights off, the Nova 3 has an understated and stealthy look. They're very light at just 253 grams, and I found that they're barely noticeable while wearing them. There's plenty of extension in the headband, but adjusting them requires quite a bit of force. On the positive side, it's pretty hard to accidentally change the adjustment by bumping them. Although it's a closed-back design, the ear cushions are made out of something called airweave memory foam, and they breathe quite well. They don't trap heat like many other headsets do, even during a long session. They're replaceable too, and SteelSeries sell a leatherette vegan leather, whatever that is, which should provide better noise isolation. Speaking of noise isolation, the Nova 3 doesn't cut out a great deal of background noise, so if that's important, you might want to look into replacing the ear cushions. If you're familiar with how other SteelSeries headsets sound, then the Nova 3 is more of the same, and that's a good thing. The default EQ profile is flat, and I personally like the way they sound with this profile. Flat isn't really the best description though, and I'd describe it as warm with restrained bass, and this works well across every game I've tried. For first-person shooters, you might want to try the focus profile to enhance other player sounds. For cinematic games, you could give either the bass boost or the smiley profiles a go if you aren't totally satisfied with how they sound out of the box. When using them with the flat EQ setting, I found them to be a pretty good headset for listening to music too. This is a great sounding headset for the money, and I really like SteelSeries' approach here of providing the same sound quality across the Nova range and simply adding features to the more expensive options. It means that you don't have to compromise on sound to get the features you want or stay within your budget. They sound particularly good when using them with the Sonar Spatial Audio, and of course, they're fully compatible with the PS5's 3D audio. Okay, device compatibility. Via USB, they'll work with the typical list of USB devices, so PC, Mac, PS4, PS5, the Switch, and USB-C phones. Via the audio cable, they'll work with basically anything that accepts this kind of audio connection, including Xbox. I should mention that while the Nova 3 works on Mac, and the GG software is also available for Mac, for some reason the headset doesn't pair with the software when connected to a Mac, even though the Arctis 7P Plus does. If you're after a well-built, comfortable headset that has a decent amount of customization options and also sounds great, this is a pretty damn good pair of cans. Like its bigger siblings, they're also a good choice as an all-purpose headphone because they work well for listening to other types of media, not just games. The understated design is also perfect for taking them on the go because they don't stand out like an obvious gaming headset, so long as you have the lights turned off, of course. If you don't care about the lights or being able to play around with the EQ profiles or mic settings, then you could save yourself some cash and go for the Nova 1. From a sound and comfort point of view, they're almost identical. If you want more control over the sound, particularly when using them with a PC, then the Nova 3 is the way to go. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you found the review useful, and I'll see you in the next one.